Some people don't fall in love slowly. They attach almost instantly. Why do we get attached so quickly? Why does one small sign of attention feel so meaningful? Why does our heart move faster than reality? If this feels familiar, you're not alone. You might notice it with someone new or even with someone you've known for a while. A compliment, a smile, a kind message, or a small gesture can feel like a connection that goes far beyond what actually happened. It can surprise you because you didn't plan for it, and yet your mind and heart are already leaning in. You might catch yourself thinking about them more than you expected, imagining moments, conversations, or even shared plans before anything has really happened. It's a feeling that can be exciting and confusing at the same time. You want to reach out, but a part of you hesitates. You want to care, but you worry it's too fast. You might even feel a little ashamed for feeling it so strongly, because it seems like everyone else takes their time. Yet here you are, fully immersed, even though the other person hasn't asked for it. And you can't explain why it feels so natural. Many people experience this. It's not a flaw or a weakness. It's a sign that your emotions are deep, your mind is imaginative, and your heart is sensitive. Some of us notice subtle gestures, remember tiny details, or feel joy and concern in ways that can feel overwhelming at times. Attachment comes quickly because your mind is attuned to noticing patterns of care, connection, and attention. There's a tension here. On one side, there's the thrill of feeling close, and on the other, the anxiety that it might be too soon or that the other person might not feel the same intensity. You may wonder, am I moving too fast? Or is this just me overthinking? That tension is normal. It doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. It means your emotional system is highly sensitive, and your inner radar is working overtime to interpret signals of connection. Sometimes, you even notice small changes in communication, a delay in response, a different tone in a message, a pause in conversation, and your mind starts analyzing. Not because you want to control things, but because you care. You care deeply, and that care can make small shifts feel larger than they actually are. You might replay messages, interpret meanings, or imagine outcomes that haven't happened. That's just how attentive and emotionally invested minds work. Attachment is not a switch you turn on or off. It grows naturally when someone or something resonates with your emotional system. When you notice warmth, kindness, or even a hint of vulnerability in another person, it can spark an immediate sense of closeness. That spark can feel like a flame, and sometimes it surprises you, because you didn't even realize you were ready to connect at such an intensity. It's also why being cautious or second-guessing yourself is common. You might hold back, even as your heart leans in, because you sense a risk. Risk isn't a problem. It's a signal that your mind is weighing connection, safety, and timing. Some people interpret hesitation as weakness, but it's actually a healthy sign that you are aware of your own boundaries and emotions. This experience can feel overwhelming, but it can also be incredibly meaningful. Your ability to attach quickly reflects your capacity for empathy, your emotional intelligence, and your desire to connect authentically. It's a superpower when balanced with self-awareness. Understanding that this is part of who you are can help you navigate these intense feelings without guilt or self-criticism. The reason this topic resonates with so many is that almost everyone experiences it at some point. Maybe you see it in romantic situations, friendships, or even casual connections. When someone makes you feel seen or valued, your emotional system reacts quickly. You attach to the feeling of being understood, cared for, or noticed. And that reaction can happen even before any promises are made or commitments formed. So why does this happen? A few things are at play. One is your sensitivity to human connection. You notice subtleties that others might overlook. A slight change in tone, a tiny smile, a shared thought. All of it is magnified in your mind because your brain is wired to perceive emotional significance. Another reason is anticipation and imagination. You begin imagining interactions, outcomes, or relationships before they exist, and your emotions respond as if those imagined moments are real. Finally, it's influenced by life experience. Past moments of care, attention, or neglect shape how quickly and intensely you respond to new signals of connection. All of this combines to make attachment feel immediate and intense. It's normal for your heart to race, for your mind to focus, and for small gestures to have an outsized impact. And while it can be confusing, this attachment is actually a reflection of emotional richness rather than a flaw. The tricky part comes when your intensity isn't mirrored or paced the same by the other person. You may feel imbalance, uncertainty, or anxiety. But these feelings don't mean you've done something wrong. They mean that emotional alignment takes time. Every person has their own rhythm, and your fast attachment simply reflects your heightened receptivity. So, how do you navigate this without feeling overwhelmed? Start by acknowledging your own feelings without judgment. Notice the intensity, but don't label it as right or wrong. It's simply part of your emotional experience. One gentle strategy is to pause before acting. Take a moment to breathe, reflect, and consider your next step. That doesn't mean suppressing feelings. It means giving yourself space to act thoughtfully. Another approach is to share in small, safe ways. A simple message, a thoughtful note, or expressing appreciation gradually allows connection to grow while honoring both your feelings and the other person's pace. You don't need to rush, explain, or justify your attachment. It's enough to acknowledge it internally and decide how you want to engage. It can also help to shift perspective. Attachment is not just about someone else. It's about you noticing and valuing connection. That awareness is a gift. Recognize your capacity for care as a strength, not a vulnerability. When you do, you begin to feel more grounded, even as your heart responds quickly. Finally, know that this intensity is natural and shared. You are not alone in experiencing rapid emotional attachment. Many people feel exactly the same way, but rarely talk about it. Understanding that this is human and common can be a profound relief. It allows you to feel, connect, and relate without self-blame or anxiety. Over time, you'll discover that attachment can be a source of joy instead of stress. By respecting your feelings, pacing your actions, and allowing emotional experiences to unfold naturally, you can enjoy deep connection without feeling overwhelmed. You can feel intensely and still feel safe, present, and in control. This doesn't mean changing who you are. It means learning to navigate your heart's natural pace with awareness. Feeling deeply, attaching quickly, and caring intensely are part of your emotional signature. They can be wonderful if you approach them with clarity and compassion for yourself. Next time your heart reacts faster than reality, remember, it's not a flaw. It's your way of engaging with the world. You're not alone. This is human, and if you want, you can use gentle strategies to experience these feelings fully while staying grounded and balanced. Pause, reflect, and engage. Notice but don't overjudge. Share but don't rush. Care but stay mindful. In this way, rapid attachment becomes not a burden, but a strength.